Hello everyone, welcome to week 3 of C++ course. So far we have seen the basic structure of C++ and today we will be delving a little bit more into writing some meaningful logic using C++. As most of you would have completed 1050, I know that you should be familiar with conditional statements. So anytime we have to make a decision, we call it as a conditional statement. When there is a branch in the code, that is called as a conditional statement. So an example is, did a student pass? Did a student pass? So there are two answers, either it is yes or it is no. We could also have an incomplete as third option, but for generic purposes, let's just stick to yes and no. So either a student passed the class or the student did not pass the class. So that is where just the basic construct is not going to help us. We need a little bit more in our toolbox than just variables and stuff like that. So let's take this situation. So if we were to think about the situation where the student passed or failed, so we have to first get input grade. So the grade is going to be the input, and then we have to convert this grade into an integer or a double so that it is usable for comparison. The next one is we have to see if grade is greater than 70%. Okay, then we say pass, else fail. So this is called as an if statement. There's nothing fancy about it in C# or C++, it's similar. So a block of code is going to be enclosed in parentheses. So this is going to be if parenthesis else parenthesis. So whatever you want to write, you write inside. So that is what is called as an if statement. So there is also another way to do the if statement. It's called as a ternary operation. So we could do the same thing in a different way that is really short and concise, and we'll see that in a little bit. So let's take the situation and see how we can do it in code. So we need to remember what we did with regards to coding using C++. So we want input. Input is going to be cin, and then cin always has to be, okay, first let's address this using So once we do this, we can get rid of this std. Out. Okay, now we are in business. So let's say cin I'm sorry, I am having a little difficulty with my keyboard. It's just acting up. Okay, so when we say that, we want to have a variable to store. So I'm going to call this variable as grade. And then let's declare that. Let's call it as score, double score, not grade. So double score, so we are doing C in score. And before we do that, we want to have a prompt. Instead of saying hello world, let's change this so it says enter score. And then what we are going to do here is, okay, we know the score. We want to say if parenthesis score greater than or equal to 70, else. Okay, so what are we going to do here? See out. Running the code. So if I 89 is a score, student passed. If I enter the score as 7, student failed. So that's how we write an if else statement. Okay, if we have multiple conditions, we can use the if else if else. So we could have another condition here saying else if condition parenthesis. This is totally fine. So let's cook up something. So we can say that if it's if score 60, so we could say something like this: more than 70 is a pass, more than 60 is a D, and otherwise the student failed. So here we are using else if situation. Let's try this out. Enter score. So I'm going to say 62. Student scored a D. Let's enter 90. Student passed. Let's enter 59. Student failed. So that is how you use a conditional statement. This is called as demo week 3 in my REPL. So this week you have the materials here for the conditional statement. And then there is a lab here. The first lab is to convert from Celsius to Fahrenheit. Second lab is to calculate commission based on sales amount. So both of them use conditional statements. So you want to make sure that you are getting some practice with that. Let's try like a switch statement. A switch statement is another type of conditional statement, but you want to use it only when the situation is straightforward. So I could just continue here saying, like student survey. Maybe we can get satisfaction, student satisfaction survey. Okay, see out student satisfaction survey. Okay, maybe that's what we want now. So maybe we want to collect student satisfaction. See in answer. So when we say this answer, what do we mean by answer? Answer is going to be a variable. The variable, I'm gonna say bool. No, it's not bool, it's int. It's going to be a number. So I have a prompt saying, please enter 1 to 5 to register your satisfaction in this course. 1 means low, 5 means high. So this is student satisfaction survey. Based upon the answer, then we can say whether the student is satisfied or not. So maybe we could have 1 is low, 2 is average, so 3 is average, 5 is high, so 2 can be dissatisfied, 4 can be happy, and 5 is excellent. I want to just change this. Very good. So let's call this bad, average, very good, excellent. Okay, so we get the answer. Now we want to use the answer to decide on 5 conditions, not 3 conditions. You can still use the if condition, the if statement for this. The other option is to use the switch case. So let's see how the switch works. So here's switch expression case. So it's pretty simple and straightforward. So we just say switch answer case 1, case 2, case 3, case 4, case 5, default. Okay, so these are all the options. You want to use a colon, not a semicolon here. Okay. That's how you do it. So you want to use a break statement after every case statement because you don't want your code to flow down. You want to be done with that particular area. Break, break, break. So this is just the construct. So let's now write some code. So all I'm going to say is, I'm going to say cout, whatever it is. I'm going to say if it's 1, I'm going to say bad. Student rates the experience as bad. First one. Second one is going to be dissatisfied. Third is going to be average. Fourth is going to be very good. And fifth is going to be, 5 is going to be excellent. The default, we can have a message saying cout unable to assess satisfaction. And then you want to always make sure that you do the endl so it flushes the buffer. Okay, now we have 2 different code situations in one code. So we are entering the score, student score 89, student passed. Now please enter the student satisfaction survey. I have to enter 1 to 5. Let me say it's bad. 1. Student rates the experience as bad. So a switch statement is like the if statement. The only difference is it's a little more concise and readable, but you want to only use it for really simple situations. The default is a situation where if it doesn't pass through any of the above cases, that will be default. The reason we use break for any situation other than the default is because if without the break, this after this line is executed, line 27, it will come to case 2, and if this is satisfied, it will go through that also. So you don't want some false positives, and that is why you have to make sure that you break after every case statement. So those are the two. The third one I wanted to show you is also the shorthand Ifelse statement, the ternary operator. So instead of like writing if something, then this, else this, we can just go concise like this. So for example, this is called as a ternary operator. Like for example, this I can change, this if else. It's only possible with if else. So I could say here, pass fail one more time, if, so instead of saying if score, I can just say so let's do string eval, because we are doing a cout of the answer. So whatever is the return value. So here, if you see here, this is cout is student passed, and that is what will be coming into the eval, student passed or failed. Okay, so we are going to like try something like that. Let's call it result. So here I am going to say score greater than or equal to 70. If this is true, I would just say pass. So this works exactly the same as the pass fail if else condition. Okay, so but it's very concise, so I could just say here let's try this. Enter score 89. So result is pass, student passed. Okay, so let me just put endl here. Let's run this one more time so we can see what is going on. Enter score 89. So result is pass. This is from this ternary operator here. Okay, then the student passed comes from this if condition, and then the third one is a student satisfaction survey. So we have used the ternary operator, we have used this if else condition, we have also used the switch statement, all in one code. I hope you find this useful. Please complete the assignment on time, and if you have any questions, do not hesitate to contact me. Thanks and have a great day.